So moving on, in this section we'll learn all about the modify command, different options, different commands that we can utilize. So starting with the basic and then moving on to the advanced, let's work around. So modify is a very good command utilizing for existing drawn. So in the first one we have drawn multiple items, circles, hatches, all these details, rays. Here we can modify them. Modify means move. You can literally move things, even the wipeout. You can literally move things, the polygon. You can literally move things, even the hatch. So that's the first command. The second is rotate, which means you can rotate the objects. You select the object, click spacebar, select a point along which you want to rotate, then start rotating it. If you want to rotate in certain 90-degree angles, click the 90-degree snap and you can rotate it. Also for move, I forgot to tell you. So move, you have to select the object, whatever you want to move, then click spacebar, select the point of reference if you want to move along with certain point. For example, if I want to connect both of these, I just move it with the certain point. Again, if I want to rotate this, let me just rotate it with this point and then try to match it over here. Okay, almost. But actually we can make it make this what we did over here exercise much better, much easier in another modify command. So then we have the copy command. Yes, this is a good object to copy, and you can copy as many numbers of you want. Same with all the modify commands. Select the command, select the object, click spacebar, or the objects. For example, if you want to copy both these circles, select this, or just select like this. Okay, and then copy. But before you, once you press spacebar, you need to select your point of reference, and then if you want to copy it in single line, straight line, you can just copy it. Also, if you want to copy at a specific distance, for example 2 meters, just type 2, 4, 6, 8. So it will copy the circles in the same line at a specific distance. So this is some tips about the circle. Copy command, copy, and then we have the mirror, which is very easy. As the name suggests, it's all about mirroring. So if I just want to mirror this object, space bar and mirror. Now it will give an option, do I want to erase it or keep it? I can keep the object, I can erase the object. So let me just do that again. Also, there is another way. You can just select the object and then click the command. In this case, all the selected objects will be in the command. Select the point, how you want to get it mirrored. You want it like this, and then do you want to keep the object or erase the object? By default it will be a no. You would like to keep all the objects. Then there is the command of stretch. Stretch basically stretches the object in a certain direction. I think it does not work for this. Maybe it works for the polygon. Let's try again. Stretch. Why is it not happening? Stretches objects crossed by a section, window, or polygon. Oh, okay. So we need a stretch, but also with a cut. In this case, maybe this would work. Try. Why is it not happening? Okay. One second. Oh, I need to select certain area. Sorry. Yeah, stretch works when you are selecting certain area. In this case, okay, let's do one thing. Let's create our own polygon first. Okay, then let's try to use stretch over here. Why is it not? Okay, let's just use the scale command. Scale command is basically if you want to scale it in different dimensions, it can happen over here. Also, scale command really works very good if you have a certain scaling requirement. For example, if I just want this octagon to be 1.5 times the size, I just select scale, click the command, type 1.5, enter, and that's it. It will change the size of it based on certain command. Then we have rectangular array. Array is to create the same object in a what should I say, in a array fashion. Array means it will just create the object in number of arrays that you want. Over here, for example, if it's 6, I want to make it 8. Then also I can increase the number of rows. Levels means I can even make it 3D like this. Here it is an array in terms of the so it is in terms of the array to how it will look, and as you can see, it will also, you can modify it to make it different angles, different degrees. Now with that being said, let me just move this away. Then we also have something called trim, which is fillet, which is just creating edges of the objects, and also you have a chamfer and bend curves. So let's go with fillet. Fillet is used between existing corners. So let me find an existing corner for that. For example, between this and this. So it will just create a fillet over here. On the other hand, I can even make a bend curve that is created between this and this object. So that's it. And then I can modify the bend curve. Also, there is chamfer. Chamfer can happen between any two objects. It's not happening. Let me make it between these two. Second. So we have this object and this object, and as you can see, it has a chamfer, but it is very small. So what if I want to make it bigger one? I just select the chamfer, then it will ask over here what's the distance. So I would like to specify first chamfer diameter. Let me make it 3. Okay, then Now if I select this and this, you can see it's a bigger chamfer. So this is how you can utilize the different. Over here mostly fillet is used, sometimes chamfer, sometimes bend. Then the next option is trim or extend. So over here, trim is basically you're just trimming. For example, in this one, if I just want to remove the excess, I just trim it over here. So that's how trim works. You can remove any line from the object. For example, inside this I don't want anything, so that's how trim will be. Same with over here, for example. But then there is also extend. Extend is you can extend the objects in a certain way. So for example, this one which was deleted, we can now extend it over here. So this is how extend works. Trim actually works through polylines. It can also work through objects. It can also be used to remove rays. So it can be done for, it can be utilized for many objects, many variations of it. For example, over here, if I want to remove all of these, I can just go ahead, remove them all to make a completely different object with designs. So that is how sometimes you can utilize the commands. Then there is erase. Erase is basically just deleting. So let's delete. Space bar, select the objects, click space bar. Then there is explode, which breaks in any given object into multiple objects. For example, for that we need an object, but also it will happen to a polyline, for example. So now it's all single unit. So now it's exploded. Before it was all one object. One second. So as you can see over here, it's one object. If I move it, it will move in certain direction. It will modify itself altogether. But if I use the explode command over it, now everything is single. So that's how explode command works. Then you have the offset, which is a very good command, especially if you want to create concentric circles, concentric diameters, concentric points. So let me, for example, for this object, let me move this object over here a bit. Then we'll use the offset command. Sorry, specify second point. Okay, one second. Let's select offset. First it will ask how much we need to offset it. Select 1, then select object. Why it cannot offset that object? Let me try to offset this object. Okay, so as you can see, offset is just that. It's creating a replica of the same objects at a scaled version. Move. Okay, so those are the basic commands. A lot of them are used every day. All of these commands specifically, I think not the array, but the other ones. Stretch and array may not be used so often, but all the other commands are used in everyday drawing works. These are the basic commands of modify, and they are used in all the objects to create all the detailing like this.